Every once in a while I run into a client who tells me that they continue to date or to pick the wrong person. One really good example of this was a client that I saw who was in her 50s actually, in her early 50s, and she was still dating, for lack of a better word, losers. And she told me she knows that they're losers. These are guys who don't work and don't take care of her and aren't emotionally available, but she continues to find herself in relationships with people like this. And the reason is self-esteem. Okay, when you trace back to your childhood, we talked about her childhood, for example. She was abused when she was young. Her parents were mean to her. She was physically abused, emotionally abused, in every way that you can imagine. And what happens in that situation is that a person develops a perception of themselves that is very poor, meaning they think of themselves as being a lousy person, unworthy of love, unworthy of the good things in life. And it's not logical. It's just because if you hear anything day after day after day after day after day for years and years, especially when you're young and impressionable and you don't know any better, what happens is that an image is formed of yourself of being a worthless person. So what do you do when you believe that you're a worthless person? What kind of person are you attracted to? What kind of person do you settle for? And what the person ends up thinking is, well, I'm going to stay with this loser because the good guys won't want me. And they stay with these people who treat them poorly because they think that's the best that they can get. So if you find yourself continually picking the wrong person, usually it has something to do with your feelings about yourself. The truth is that if you have a very high opinion of yourself and someone treats you poorly, you don't put up with that. If someone's cursing at you, hitting you, yelling at you, cheating on you, and you really believe that you have great worth, you're out of there. You're not going to put up with that. So self-esteem and self-perception are usually very prominent when it comes to any kind of dating or relationship type issue. I help the person to recognize and to appreciate, well, what's really good about you? What makes you any less deserving than the next girl or the next guy of having a valuable relationship or of being treated with respect? Usually when I ask those questions, they have like a sheepish grin. They kind of think that they know the answer. Well, I'm not pretty enough, and I'm not smart enough, and I'm not nice enough, or whatever. But when they really get down to it, they recognize that it's nonsense. They know that they're worthy and deserving of love and happiness. It's just that they've been convinced of the lie in the past. And I use hypnosis to communicate to their feeling mind, their subconscious mind, what they logically really know, which is that they do deserve better and that they can find someone who values them and treats them with respect. And when they hear that message, when they're hypnotized or they hear it repeatedly over and over again, it's amazing how quickly they can change. Very quickly, you get that message and it clicks. And all of a sudden, this woman after her first session came back and she said, you know what, I'm done with this relationship. She wasn't putting up with it anymore because she now began to think of herself consciously. She was thinking of herself and becoming aware of the fact that, you know what, my life, I have value. And therefore his behavior did not fit anymore within that picture and it wasn't worth putting up with anymore. And so whatever your issue is, if it's whatever the type of person is that you're attracting, if they're the wrong person for you, remember, it starts within yourself. And hypnosis is something that can help you to change what's inside so that it's more in tune with, what logically you know to be true.